Hello and welcome back to the Joyful Soul Creates. Charlotte here, and today I'm afraid I'm only showing you my card because the footage disappeared, which was very annoying because it took me like an hour to record. So obviously I don't have time to recreate this now, and I figured rather than doing that I would talk you through how I made the card. The idea behind this was based on one of the cards from my 5 fast cards video that I did for the Back to Basics blog hop recently, which used this stamp from Catherine Pooler's Happy Together stamp set. So I started by stamping that all around the edges of my white panel, made from some Wow paper, which is their superior smooth white cardstock. So I stamped the branches all around and heat embossed them with black embossing powder. And then my original plan was I was going to mask off the cats and make this be one layer, but I forgot to put my mask on before I started ink blending, so I didn't do that in the end. For my ink blending I used a bunch of Catherine Pooler inks, and when I say a bunch I really mean a bunch. There were quite a few of them, and I actually started doing direct paper first, so I had the Tiara ink first and I just swiped it onto my paper, and then I moved on to the Tiki torch and went from the edge of the Tiara out a bit further. Then the Tutti Frutti, Party Dress and Flirty Fuchsia. The Flirty Fuchsia went all the way out to the edges. And I did go back and forth through the colours a couple of times to get it to blend a bit better. And then I switched to my blending brushes. The reason I'd started with the direct paper initially rather than going straight in with my blending brushes was that it got the coverage down faster. But I still ended up spending quite a lot of time on the actual ink blending to get the transition to be nice and smooth. And there again I just worked 2 colours at a time, so I started with the blending brush over the Tiara to soften the line, and then the Tiki torch, and went back and forth between the two until I was happy with that, and then continued through the colours until I'd got all the way out to the edge. And this gave me quite a vibrant background, which I liked, but it wasn't exactly what I was going for. So then I blended over it with Twilight, starting out at the edges first and moving my way in towards that centre. And I didn't completely cover the centre, so initially it was still quite vibrant in the middle. But then later, when I wanted the edges even darker, I blended in with the midnight from the edges moving inwards, and I didn't want to fully cover everything with black, obviously, so I didn't go for a very intense coverage of that, but it did mean that I felt like the bright centre was too bright, so I ended up bringing the Twilight across the middle even more to knock that vibrancy back. When I'd started with the direct paper technique, it actually did kind of leave lines from the edges of the ink pads when I put the colours down, and I wasn't sure if it was going to blend, but as you can see, by the time I was finished, you really can't see those lines at all, and it has blended out quite nicely. When I was done with all the ink blending, I die cut my panel out with one of the Cat Scrappiness Never Ending rectangle dies, and as I'd forgotten to mask off the cat, I instead used the die to cut the cat out. I cut the cat out from some black card, the same card that I ended up using for my card base and also my grounding element. And then obviously, because the cat's kind of silhouetted, but it's also going to be catching the light from around the image, so I added some colour around the edges. I used orange for everything where the light would be coming from the right hand side, and red for everything from the left hand side. So I was almost thinking of it as orange being the highlight side and red being the shadow side. And with this I just wanted to add just a hint of a glow to the cat to give it some dimension and interest. So that's what I did, and I used Derwent Artist pencils for that. I did also use a little bit of black just to add extra shadow beneath the hat and on the ribbon of the hat, for example. And I also used it on the eyes just to emphasize the lines of the eyes a bit. I'm not sure if the black made a huge difference, but I felt better about adding it, so that's what I did. For my sentiment, I chose one from the same Simon Says stamp set that the cat is from, although as I said I used the die, not the stamp for the cat. This is the stamp set and it is called Creepy Cute, and I chose the It's Meowloween stamp and white heat embossed it onto my panel. And with that done, I just put double-sided tape onto the back of my panel and adhered it to my card base. I used more double-sided tape to adhere my grounding piece, which is just another snippet of that same black card. And I did decide to make that the full width of the card, not just the width of the panel. I then used my Tombow Monomulti liquid glue to adhere the cat into place, and I have added some shadow below him using a black pencil. I considered adding highlights along the edge of the ground as I had done with the cat, but I did decide against that in the end. So that is the card I made. Again, it was inspired by the one from the Back to Basics hop, because several people said they were interested in seeing a Halloween version of that using the branches. And I didn't want to just recreate the exact same thing, so I did change it up a little bit. And it has a cat because it is the Cat Lovers blog hop at the moment, which is also why yesterday's card had a cat. There will be more cat cards in the next few days whilst the hop is continuing. I believe you can enter 5 cards to the hop in total, so I will be sharing one a day until I have reached 5, and I believe that leaves 1 extra day for finishing the hop at the end. For today's secret word, just use the word branch or branches in your comments, and then I will know that you have definitely watched the video. Then head over to Rafflecopter and let it know that you have entered with today's comment. Don't forget that you do have to have commented on the original giveaway video, which I will link in the top right hand corner, for your entries to count to the Rafflecopter giveaway. That is the only video that you have to comment on to be eligible to win the prize. Any other videos you comment on will give you extra points towards the prize, as will completing any of the other tasks I have assigned there, for example being a subscriber or following me on Instagram or visiting my Etsy page, which you can actually do daily for an extra point each day throughout the period of the giveaway. And if you want to purchase from my Etsy store, there is an ongoing coupon code listed in my description box. So in any case, that is my card. All the products I have used are linked in the description box down below, and they are affiliate links where possible. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing with your friends, and shopping with my affiliate links. If you do, your support means a lot to me. There are a couple of other videos showing on screen if you'd like to see more from me straight away. Otherwise, I'll thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!